awesome little thing. You set this up really well, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, you can tell that you've been putting through a lot of work into this.
Not really. It's just like this is me on like a few minutes on GIMP.
Hmm.
I'll openly admit that right now. It's like if you think this is good, oh Jesus Christ, oh boy.
It's just because I haven't seen what anyone else's hitbox account looks like.
Well, no, it's just like if people are like, "Wow, you did such an amazing photo." I'm like, that's just me in a few minutes on GIMP. What the fuck? Why are you guys gushing over this? Like, why? It's nothing. It's not my best work. Give me
Ramses, shut up and take the compliment.
fine. God, everyone's like that. It's like, man, for God's sakes. I'm like,
It's because no one likes hearing. So if I'm trying to give you a compliment, the most rude thing you can do is basically say no, you're wrong.
all right, fine.
And I guess apparently it's not just me who's doing the whole like, dude, I'm trying to give you a compliment. Just take the compliment.
No, I do that all the time with everyone. It's like no wonder people are pissed off with me sometimes. I'm like, God
Well,
damn it!
I was that way for a long way too, especially when it came to stuff like my music. When I'd perform on stage, I could hear all my flaws and mistakes, and a lot of people couldn't because a lot of these things, much like my music videos and stuff like that, a lot of my issues would come down to, oh, you can't tell, but this one millionth of a second right here is off, and I can see that one millionth of a second, and I hate myself for it. No one else could see it, and it's taken me years to get over that. And I still have my moments where I start to contradict their compliment, and then I stop and I go, I mean, thank you very much. I'm a perfectionist. I'm having my issues, but thank you for liking my insert, whatever it is. That's all you got to do. Just say, I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so,
Yeah,
but thanks for the compliment.
yeah.
Because then people will be fine. Like, okay, yeah, perfectionism. I know plenty of people in that category. Ooh, new giveaway. Sweet.
We should be live.
Yeah, I see the screen there. This is a pretty interesting game. I didn't really know what to expect. I also, didn't even know it was I missed it out on its first initial release, and it's actually kind of a fun fighter. Got 11 different girls if you have the expanded version, because that adds Hilda into the list, and then
I think that's the other. I have all of them.
yeah, and then the 5 different supports, which I wish it gave you a little descriptor of what each support did. Because maybe there's something that could be more useful towards my playstyle instead of me having to just try each one until I find one I like.
Methinks I gotta switch controllers soon.
The funny thing with this is one of the many games, and I don't hold this against this game at all, because it's my fault of my controller, is my controller gets weird of certain games, because it's designed like a Super Nintendo controller, and it has a D-pad, but for some reason certain games do not like the D-pad, and I don't know why. And I know it's a hardware thing. I know it's my controller, not the games. So with this, when I tried to play this, I actually had to play it on my keyboard because it just did not like the D-pad, and I was like, ah, man, add this to the list of 20 other games I have problems with. Including games you wouldn't think would have issues. I played some role-playing games where I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, right now it's like I think I'm gonna switch to my 360.
Yeah,
pad
you're doing your auto-jumping thing. You gotta switch to your alternate controller. Like I said, I usually don't blame the game for that. I usually blame the controller, because the controller should auto that stuff.
Anyways, keep going while I set up here.
Yeah. But, one of the things that kind of stood out to me initially with this game is really, the background. Look at there's depth to it. It's really nicely painted. Well, painted in digital. But the backgrounds just look really, really nice. And my stream just went blank.
No, I'm resetting the.
Oh, okay. Oh, for the controller.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. It's even for a fighting game. It has its little story thing, which should be coming up here. Little text explaining who the Vanguard Princesses are. And I don't know. It's just, what it reminded me of when I started playing it? It reminded me of Melty Blood. And I freaking love Melty Blood, so much so that I really want to do a Melty Blood review now.
There you go.
Okay, controller's good?
Yeah.
And so, it's definitely one of those games where, you know, it's simple, but the simplicity is like the best part of it. You know, the simplicity is what kind of makes it fun. I don't have to know 2,000 different combos or... You look at the move list right there. You have, what, 5 moves and 1 super. Easy enough to memorize for your character, and you kind of push forward with it. You don't have to be sitting there going, oh wait, let me pause this and look at my move list again. You can basically memorize most of those moves relatively quickly. Oh, I love her. She's one of my preferred characters in this game.
Yeah, from the whole time I've been playing around with this game, I actually like her.
Yeah, I like most of the girls with the swords because there's 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them. Really grew to like Eri a lot. Eri and I think it's Suki are like my 2 other favorites. I do like Luna, but for some reason I can't figure out how to reload her gun. I'm sure it's on her move list, and every time I play it, I don't memorize which one is the reload your freaking gun move. But I actually like her because I love her super where she jumps into the background and does like unloads a clip on the opponent. And I just think that's such a cool looking super. But I just love how all these locations are so... I know there's just a bunch of different characters hanging out in the background.
Now, are they characters from like the creators like previous games?
I don't know, because one of the guys involved in this is a character designer from Capcom, or formerly of Capcom. And so I don't know. But some of the extra girls and stuff show up in like the endings. I know in some of the endings you'll see other like background characters, especially for the girls who are from the different schools, because they'll have their classmates kind of talking to them and what have you. And I guess that was cool. The last boss of this game is a pain. Definitely falls in that category of once you have a character you're good with, you can pretty much rip through the main fights all the way to the last boss with not even breaking a sweat. You get that last boss, and you're like, can you please stop spamming your moves?
That sounds like every other final boss.
Yeah. Yep, it really is. And so it's one of those things where I can't hold it as a fault in this game because I've played way too many games that are like that. And, for someone who's played as many hours of the Street Fighter games as I have, I can't bitch and moan about it because it's like, well, that's kind of how this works. But it's fun, I really did find a lot of fun with this. I really love the design of all the characters. They did a great job. And, it helps when one of your lead people is a character designer. That kind of helps. Oh, what the? Oh. That was on your end. Yeah, starting off against Lilith is always a pain because she's just going to spam her throw moves on you.
So she's your Zangief.
Yep. If you can already see, your life bar is already halfway down. You've taken like 2-3 hits from her. Every time she's the first opponent, I'm like, oh, for God's sake! Can't there fight be so much easier? Although I know one of them I took her on as the one of the rival fights. I think the boss before the last boss fight. And oh gosh, it's just me just running away from her the entire time. Stop trying to kill me. But considering the simplicity of the game, the combat is really good. I love the parry system, especially when you start timing that down because of how much it'll power you up when you block everything. My favorite moment, I can't remember who I was fighting. I fought against one of the girls, and I pulled off a parry right as they did their super. It's the greatest feeling in the world when you just parry a super. You're just like, ping! Nope, sorry, no super today. Always better, especially because some of the supers are unblockable. And it's one of those things where Melty Blood has that, Street Fighter 3 has that, and I love it. I love just the whole, like, boom, sorry, not gonna happen. That's another, Blaze Blue, I think also has they call it Perfect Guard in that. It's the same thing. I always dig that feeling. There's nothing more no better feeling of invincibility than blocking, just basically not countering a super, but preventing a super via a parry type move.
This looks cool. As you can tell, what's up?
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, as you can tell, like, I don't have that much experience with the game. Like, I got it, it's great and all, but the thing is, I played it and I'm like, the only reason I got it was because it was a part of the Humble Bundle.
Yeah.
And, let's say I heard it's infamy. That's what intrigued me about this game. Infamy of this game.
This is just one of those ones I remember hearing people kind of mumble about, but I never really knew a lot about it until I had the chance to kind of go forward and play it for the review. And like I said, this is my style of game. This just reminds me of a Melty Blood. It reminds me of playing, kind of to an extent, even though this is kind of an unfair comparison, it kind of reminds me of the old Mugen days, where when I was using original characters, and by original I mean they took a character that was well known, like say Cloud from Final Fantasy, and then made a Cloud for a fighting game. That kind of thing. It does remind me of that in a few extents. Mainly because a lot of those original characters were anime based. But I will say this, the AI, even on easy, is still one of those weird ones where it feels really unbalanced. Some of the expansions help with that, to the point that I'd say the AI gets a little too dumbed down. But it's one of those weird issues that if you have the various expansions, it makes things a little bit easier, but sometimes a little too easy. But yeah, when I played without the expansions, you can get your ass kicked pretty quickly.
Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. But no, I guess my issue is, like, it's a good game. It's like, mechanically it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanically it's good. The only issue I have with the game is that this is the kind of game that unfortunately, it just needs a little bit, like, it's just, like, in a day of age, like, where we have games like Guilty Gear and Persona 4 Ultimax that do play this game a lot better. This kind of game just, I don't know. It feels kind of like old-fashioned. It's like, it feels like it's taking too many steps back, and I know why. I can clearly tell what's going on with this game. This is made by using Fighting Maker, and it's like that's why there's a lot of like, well, that's why it's like it feels kind of cut and paste. It's like that Kinnikuman Man game that we played that one time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but, you know, like I said, that's kind of the same thing with Melty Blood. Melty Blood is very simple, and I like simple. And I think where you really try to take the advantage on simple games is to try to make things stylistically nice.
The thing is also, it's like, I kind of wish this was like, for example, like, this is like a, what? How much is this game? Like, $15?
It's like $5.
$5?
Oh, I saw it on Steam recently. I thought I saw it for $5, but it might have been on a sale last time I saw it.
Yeah, because if it's more than $5, then it's like, I kind of wish this game was a little bit more robust with its options.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my issue. It's like, I think the game is fantastic in terms of its look and its style. That's great.
Yeah. I also do like the music. Since, you know, we're talking the aesthetic side of it.
But it's like, I kind of wish that there was a little bit more to this game.
I'll agree with that, and I think one of the things that gets to me is the assists is a nice idea, but it feels completely under executed. You know, you really have these points where I'm going through and I'm using my assist. My assist is kind of like throwing like some bubbles out or something along those lines, and I'm like, how do I even... I mean, yeah, I could time to hit my opponent, but it does almost nothing. And even when facing off with my opponent, even when their assist hits me, it doesn't really seem to have that much of an impact in the whole grand scheme of things. So it's one of those ones where I feel like I'd rather it just be like a tag team kind of setup, where like I switch between both characters. That would be a lot of fun. And I've played other games that have that. Or have like the assist person have some sort of bigger impact on my gameplay. Where, you know, the assist person, let's go to a game I love, Project Justice, where like your assist can give you an attack boost, or your assist can give you heal you, or your assist just does, you know, a special double super thing. And if it was set up like that, I think that would be a little more interesting and make for more variety of strategy and what have you. Then they occasionally throw out a little bit of an anti-air or just a forward attack, which is nice and helpful. But you know, just if it had a bigger variety of what it could do, I would love to just, especially for some of these fights where I'm like, oh man, this AI is just spamming the hell out of me. And then, you know, I could just hit my assist button and my assist like heals my character to, you know, a decent chunk of life. Like maybe it would take a while to build up that assist bar versus say one that does like a fireball attack. But, you know, when you have that assist bar maxed out for that healing move, boom, you have the healing move and you can keep pushing forward. You know, or the attack boost, or the, you know, puts a barrier on you so you take less damage for a set amount of time. Something that would be more strategically valuable, and that would really make players, especially in versus mode, you know, think differently as to how they want to approach a fight. You know, oh, do I want to have the healer? Do I want to have the damage dealer? Do I want to have the shield? Do I want to have the attack boost? And I think that really would have been a little more interesting. And you know, if they made a sequel, or if they did, you know, another expansion to it or what have you, they probably could add in those types of things. It just feels in this one it's just to have a cute little anime girl following you around.
Yeah, that's my issue. It's like, I think that's my biggest issue. It's like, it's great. I'm not gonna deny the game looks fantastic. I think I think it needs a little bit of work mechanically. And when I mean mechanically, I don't mean like the mechanic, the actual like in-game mechanics. I mean like the actual like presentation needs work badly.
Yeah, like I said, I feel that certain things feel like a little too simple in some cases. And I feel like certain things really could have been, you know, like I was making the comment about the assist. The assist really could have been more robust. And, you know, I'm coming from a background of having played the King of Fighters games, you know, Project Justice, like I mentioned earlier, where, you know, if you know what the assists do, you could set them up in a way that would be really, really helpful versus, you know, in this where it doesn't feel like, half the time I forget I have an assist. Like, I like the parry system, although, I like the parry system, and I like how the girls are all different in terms of their fighting styles. You know, whether they're swords people, or they use guns, or they have a bow and arrow, or what have you. But, you know, I totally see, you know, from your side as well, with just certain little things could have been updated more, because otherwise they just feel unnecessary. And when you go into the Kurumi expansion, and they add in, like, the team battle, where it's you versus two opponents, holy moly, does that just get chaotic and crazy, with the AI continuously switching between the two girls, and, you know, while you're just trying your best to figure out which one you're fighting at the time. And that just gets a little crazy, and that mode just is a massive pain. They also added in a, they call streak mode, which is basically survival mode. And that's not that difficult, in my opinion, because it feels like all the characters are a little bit weaker than normal. But that team mode gets so crowded and so busy on the screen that half the time I'm like, wait, what the hell's going on? And that's never really a good sign. So, you know, it's definitely has some flaws in it. It is a fun game, especially once you know what you're doing and you know all, you know, how to counter all your opponent's moves and what have you. But yeah, it's for the price, it's great, you know, and I can't get over the fact that this game is as good looking and it has as great of music, especially again in the Kurumi expansion with like some of the vocal tracks they add in there. You know, I love that, but it's one of those odd things where, you know, as you're going through it, you're like, okay, this AI needs some balancing, you know, a few other little problems like that, and it's just kind of interesting how And for a small little fighter, I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah,
And
I'm not denying that. This is really this is like one of the best like for a game like this. This is really good. I'm pretty sure it's all fan made. Like this is all like made by not by some big company. So it's like
yeah.
So that's fine if it's like just a couple of guys making this game. Then that's fine. But like.
It really is. If you got to the end credits, you'd like they go by pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's like
it's like the voice actors, and then it's just like like the 4 programmers and like the 3 artists and what have you. It is a small staff behind this. There's more voice actors than there were than on any other segment of this game.
Come on,
voice actors did 2 or 3 characters because that you may as well.
Yeah. Ooh, Mini Zangief's actually pretty good.
If she destroys whenever she takes you on because she's the only one whose throws really seem to be particularly good. Every time I use a character for throw, it always does like minuscule damage. She does any of her basic throws, just destroys, and then all her special attacks are even more freaking devastating. Oh snap!
Fuck! She's like 3 Stone Cold Stunners!
It's like half a life bar from that one super. Oh my god.
Okay, I think I found my move. I think I found my favorite character. I'm usually not the type of guy that uses grapplers. But they'll make an exception for it. By the way,
yeah.
By the way, welcome to the hitbox. Welcome to hitbox chat. Rising 7. How you doing today?
We're just playing some Vanguard Princess.
Yeah, we're playing some Vanguard Princesses. Like our friend. Oh, and he's left. Anyways, just to let everybody know, if you see this posted on YouTube, which I will post this up on YouTube. That we are giving away this game as part of our like 50 subscribers, like incentive, not just subscribers, because yeah, but 50 followers incentive. So it's like if we can get us to 50 if you can get us to 50 followers, you can win this and many other games available on our giveaway. So,
yeah, that's which let the viewers know which place they need to have the numbers on, because we're can be found on a lot of places: YouTube, Twitter. You know.
Well, we're posting this on Hitbox, so it's like we want to get more people on Hitbox. I think Hitbox is where you can go around and do a lot more things. Like you can actually post pictures. Like if you put a URL there, Jared, with a picture on it, you can actually post it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, what I like for Hitbox is of all the different streaming ones, this seems to have the least amount of lag.
Yes, it does.
At least that's what I've noticed. And it's not like, it's right now, I'm not just streaming this video. I'm also, with you on Skype, obviously, and I have a couple other programs running in the background, and I have no problems. No real lag, anything like that. We're just kind of talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that is something you see too often on, I'm not going to say other services, but people who may have gone to some of the other services. You may hear someone complaining about stuff, 30 seconds before you get to see it.
Yeah.
And that's always just kind of a pain, and dude likes me some Hitbox. It's really coming out to be my favorite of all different streaming ones, and I've seen a few things on the YouTube streaming, and that one always feels really weirdly hit and miss. Like it either works really well or it fails.
I streamed once on I streamed once on YouTube. The only complaint is like the way it works is that everything's automated by a robot. So it's like any kind of like minor little infraction that it finds, it will like flag you hard.
Oh, will it?
Yeah.
Okay, well that might be one of the reasons why it has the weird issues I find it for lag. It's probably because there's something scanning you all the time, which will screw up. Well, it's like, YouTube is really weirdly corporate now, and it kind of bothers me. And like, I think it obviously started around the time they got bought up by Google. But, you know, it's just gotten worse and worse at that one. I mean, I lost my old account for BS reasons. Oh, here it comes. Boom, 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 boom. I love that move. Just jump through the background, just unloading a clip. Freaking love that.
It's pretty good, but I can see why. It's like, where do I reload? Why do I randomly reload?
That's like an early victory thing. There's a little bit of a jiggle.
Jiggles are good. That's actually a selling point. That's why I learned about this game, because of the influence, because of the jiggle and you know, the fan service and all that good stuff.
Yeah. And yet it doesn't like super pander any kind of fan servicey stuff, which is kind of a surprise on this one, because usually in all-girl fighters, but probably the exception of Skullgirls, there tends to overdo the fan service a bit much. This one, it's just subtly there. It's there to be enjoyed, but it's not like the whole game isn't. Let's look at boobs.
I should let you know I'm playing this game on the Director's Cut DLC.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot more going on than your version. That's why.
Well, no, I have the Director's Cut stuff active, but you know, there's no nudity or anything that I just found yet.
Well, no, it's a lot more. It's a lot more. That's a good way to say it. It's a lot more icky.
Yeah, there's a lot more panty shots. I noticed that.
And by the way, that DLC's free.
Yeah. Which is cool of them. They were like, no, we'll bring it back to the Japanese version. And it's like, hey, thank you. You shouldn't have cut it down in the first place, but yeah, it probably what gave it a little bit of its infamy, not only having stuff cut, but also the fact that, yeah, there's a bit on the panty shot side. There's the jiggle, obviously, for the girls who can jiggle. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel as pandering as some games. But then again, I'm also a Dead or Alive player, so you know, who am I to talk about, you know, fan service and pandering and stuff like that? But in my defense, Dead or Alive has a kick-ass combat system in it. And it has dudes, believe it or not, even some of which I'm actually pretty good with. So. I like Eri. Eri was the first girl I beat this game with. Because she just is one of those get-up-in-your-face. And you can, I think it's her forward circle attack. I think you can chain that, if I'm not mistaken. And that's kind of one of the cool parts about her. And then she also has her little dragon punch move, which is pretty good as well. Because you're going up against someone else, you can also chain their attacks and do a dragon punch move. Oh, block. Yeah, I mean, I do like this game. I do enjoy it. It's definitely not going to be for everyone. And it has a few little minor things. I do like some of the balancing stuff they added into the Kurumi version, because that way you don't, even on your easy mode, you don't immediately get destroyed by certain characters. But yeah,
I found a potential of health infinite right there.
Yeah, the chaining there. That's the reason she was my first beating this game with. Yes. Not as cool of a super, but it still gets the damage done. I think my favorite super is still Luna's, but I do love that Lilith just freaking wrestle smash a person to death. Mm-hmm. That wrestle smash, I was like, oh, that is brutal.
I'm fucked. Speaking of which.
Speaking of which.
Yeah, this character seems to be more of my like playstyle, because I'm more in your face when it comes to these type of games. I am aggressively in your face. So if you see me play like Street Fighter or if you see me play King of Fighters or Street Fighter, it's like I'm always on you like a fly on shit. And this is like more my style kind of gameplay right here.
I am a hit and run ranged character type of player. Though I do like some of the ranged characters that have close range options. It's the reason I like Jin from BlazBlue so much. It's because he's essentially a ranged character, but you can still get in someone's face and just destroy him.
Jesus! Get off my...
Freaking just turned that entire fight back on you.
Yes, she did!
It's like, oh, well, he's won this. One more hit.
He's getting too good at this game. Let's make it harder for him.
Well, it's like, oh, now that things are fair, I'm gonna just do a massive chain combo. And the game will do that occasionally. I'm not as keen on that. Like I said, they got balanced out slightly more in the Kurumi expansion. Which is odd, is that that's the girl they decided to name the expansion after. That was odd. I've never completed Kurumi's story. She doesn't fight my style.
There you go.
Come on, Rams, you can do it.
No, I'm just thinking right now. It's like, dude, she has Rekkas. Fuck. Dude, she's fucking Fei Long. Look at that shit. I have to look at it like in layman terms, which means I gotta look at like Street Fighter or King of Fighters. Yeah. So it's like if I'm using like that kind of terminology, it's like, oh, that's just me like using Street Fighter terminology to ease my my knowledge of this game. Ah, son of a.
Well, the thing is, a lot of fighters. Jeez.
Yo, get your dog off me. There you go.
Victory had by one. I like these little story moments.
Oh shit.
Or you can just skip it. It's good too. You can have a comedic little talk between the girls, but eh. Good news. She's ranged. Get in her face and take her out.
Well, that's nice. I like she's a zoning character, so it's like she's Dulcine.
Yeah, it's a decent way of putting it.
Yeah, because Dulcine was built for that. Like, okay, you want to get this guy. You want to get this guy. You don't want to give this guy distance. He works better at distance than
Dulcine might be one of the few ranged characters I was never particularly good with, because I think his way of being ranged doesn't work with my playstyle. I think it's because he moves. You have to know all his moves and what they're going to do.
Oh no, it's like he's actually pretty good. It's as normal as that do the work, not like the Yoga Flames, not the Yoga Fires.
Yeah, I think that was my issue. Is those special moves just never really did what I needed them to do, and you really had. I think if I took more time using his standard moves, I probably would have gotten a lot better. I loved his slide. That was actually really useful.
Well, it's that down. Whoa, fuck! Here I am pressing back like a goddamn mongoloid.
Well, unless you can time that perfect guard.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's another issue. It's like, can I have a block, please?
Well, most games don't have a block button. You normally just have to do the hold back thing.
Well, not.
But...
Well, you know what I mean. Fuck you. Don't use that shit on me. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, like I said, once you kind of get the feel of this game, you can handle most any opponent as long as you kind of know your girl and how she fights.
Yeah, that's why it's like I'm finding my way around this game with this character, and I'm like, okay, she's pretty good.
Yeah, I like I said, Eri was the first character I beat the game with.
I can see why.
There's a couple continues, but yeah, I do like their playing style. And yes, this is one of those games where you could start. Once you see the move list on a character and know how they fight, you're like, oh, this reminds me of, this character or that character from other games. But, the same can be said of a lot of things. You could do that with, Guilty Gear and go, oh, well, this character reminds me of such and such from Street Fighter or what have you. Because really, when it comes to fighting games, there's only so much variation you can really do. And especially for things that are trying to do real-life type stuff, because, you're going to have your judo guy, you're gonna have your taekwondo guy, you're gonna have your a Muay Thai guy. At
You're
least
gonna have Russian bear guy. You're gonna have like Pew schoolgirl guy. You're gonna have army guy. You're gonna have. Must I go on?
Yeah, I mean the archetypes remain the same. What works with this is because it's more fantasy based. At least there's some variation in terms of your stuff. You're not. Yeah. Yes, we have the wrestler chick essentially. Lil takes our our wrestler type archetype. And we have our couple of sword wielders, so you could easily compare to stuff from Samurai Spirits or from Last Blade.
Well, she's more like the character that I used with the sword. She felt more like someone from Guilty Gear than.
Yeah, she kind of did. Actually, I feel a little bit of Guilty Gearness in terms of how some of these characters play.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it's like.
And that's not a negative in my mind.
It wants to be a floaty type of game with It wants to be that kind of like floaty type of like game. Where it's like it's a lot of aerial stuff.
Yeah.
But you just don't. It just doesn't. Like it stays very grounded. And I don't mind that. But it's just like it's one of the things where this is one of the complaints. This is one of the complaints I had with Skullgirls when it first came out. It's like Skullgirls, great game. I'm not gonna deny it. It was a great game, but
with its initial release, felt really stiff to me.
No, it felt too loose. It didn't know if it wanted to be a versus fighter. Oh fuck you! Oh, there you go. Yeah, it worked out again. No, it didn't know if it wanted to be like a versus fighter or it wanted to be an Arxis fighter. And here, I think it's a complete opposite. It's like, it wants to be an Arxis fighter, but it wants to be Street Fighter 3 at the same time.
See, we're talking about different things in terms of the tightness and the looseness. For me, the tightness felt like on the controls. Like, it really felt that if I did not... There was no forgiveness if I missed with an attack, or if I was trying to do a combo and I failed it, I would just be massively wide open, and there was no real recovery is really real, where, so it was tight. You had to know exactly what you were doing or you were just kind of screwed. There was no, kind of safety blanket. While if you play Blaze Blue or a Guilty Gear, there is a little bit. If I screw up on my combo, or a guy jumps over me, I'm not massively wide open, swinging my arms like an idiot. Cough, cough, injustice. So I kind of like that way. This one felt exactly the type of thing I want, where I can recover from screwing up relatively quick. Except for some enemies will spam the crap out of their moves, like right there where you're seeing the character just do that knee move 3 times in a row. And that can be a little bit annoying. And that's an AI issue, not so much a control issue.
Ah, you blocked it. Yeah, I think that's also another thing I kind of wish this game had. Like, if hopefully in the further expansions they have this, is a training mode.
Yes, you can do practice in versus. There's a way to switch that into a more of a practice type thing, but that's just essentially fight a non-opponent.
Yeah, that's like.
But I mean, that's like kind of I think what you want. But it'd be nice to have something that would go through the moves, help out with, like, learning the timing of pulling off the parry and stuff like that. That required me some practice to kind of get when I can do that. Even if it's half the time, I still don't get it. I still get off by a little bit because I'm not quite sure when they specifically want me to hit it. Which is why I don't usually rely on a perfect guard type system in a game, because sometimes it's too much of a risk for the result. The parry in Street Fighter 3 was definitely in that category where if you screwed that one up, you were just open for to be wailed on.
Yeah, there was a huge risk in reward with doing parries. If you do it too much, then you can just what moves to counter that way. And that's I guess the issue with the game is eventually you know how each move works and what the frame that is. So at one point you can just parry every if you really pay attention, you can pretty much parry everything if you're really paying attention.
I had a friend who got good at the parry system, but only against the characters I used more often. So it came to a certain point where I just couldn't use Ken or
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. There's certain characters I couldn't use as often anymore. Although I also had a friend who was really good at Dudley, and he's like, Perry, forget that. I have cross counter as an option. Don't get into that you pull off the cross counter all the time. Instead of like, this parries and I hit you across the screen. And I'm like, yeah, that is an effective little technique. I loved 3. I mean,
yeah, 3. I think
super underrated.
No, it's up there.
It's getting more love now when they released the HD version, but back in the day, like, no one really played it. Third Strike was a lot of that was always my thing. Is that
you should hang out with me. I trust me. Super 3 was like that was the game.
Okay.
But then again, too, I lived in Mexico, so the game for me was King of Fighters.
Oh, I loved King of Fighters. I grew up more on Fatal Fury, but I loved me some King of Fighters, and I played several of the versions of it. And that's why we have our discussions of which Dream Match game we prefer.
And at the end of the day, it's like I like both. To be honest with you, like I can just I played for a few hours King of Fighters '98 because I saw someone else play it on their channel, on their YouTube channel. I was like, I'm gonna play this. And I ended up playing for like 3 hours. I'm like, I love this game.
Yeah, I like my Dreamcast version. It doesn't have all the characters of the Ultimate version, but it's still a great thing to pull out because you can just go and have some fun with it.
Yeah, which is that basically it's like isn't that just like 98 with just like a few new characters?
Yeah, the Dreamcast added like it added Rugal and a couple others.
Well, Rugal's been there.
Well, no, I don't think in the original arcade version had Rugal.
No, he was in the home version of like King of Fighters '98.
Yeah, the Dreamcast version had Rugal and stuff like that, and then Ultimate added in a few of the alternate character versions. It added in the boss team from '96 or '97, whatever version had the boss team. No, they're not in the Dreamcast version, but in the Ultimate Match version, it is.
Yeah,
you have Geese, Krauser, and Mr. Big.
Yeah.
I like how that's the character name of town bosses actually having their own team. I thought that was kind of cool, and I don't know why that wasn't included in the original Dreamcast version.
I don't know why either. That was a cool team because I like using Krauser.
Yeah.
No! Get that Nanoka bullshit out of my game, yo. That's some deep cuts right there.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. I had to fight for that fucking win. That is a W that was worth it.
Well, like I said, rival fight. It's going to always be a little more hard. But it's kind of part of what makes some of these fights great. The problem is after this is you're going to go up against super cheap final boss.
Oh! Here's our Omega. Speaking of Rugal.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't expect to beat the game. That's a funny thing. I was like, okay, fine. I'm just gonna play this game, do an exhibition of all the characters. Now here I am with the final boss.
Yeah. And by the way, I played as this character, and I'm like, I don't know how the AI is able to do these moves at such a fast rate for the ones that are special attacks.
Because it's the AI. It's like the AI has like an instant button.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
No. Well, except for you're down to 1 scratch of life. The trick I found when beating her with Aerie is you got to corner her and just.
Spam.
Yeah, you almost got her too. So yeah, as soon as you get her cornered, she can't pull off any of her moves. That teleport gets annoying, but beyond that, if you can pull off moves like combos like that you're doing right now, you'll be fine. When you see her amusing ending. Yeah, I ended up playing this yesterday. I played through it regular release version, director's cut version, and then with Kurumi and everything all in. And it's interesting seeing some just the little differences.
Yeah, see how this game plays with someone else that knows what he's doing. Somewhat.
Yeah. Well, it's because I spent all day doing it, and then all my footage and screenshots didn't save. And I'm getting a phone call, but I'll not worry about that right now.
Oh, for fuck's sake, get off my ass!
Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about.
Well, here's the thing, it's like you can fight, it's like Bugal levels of bullshit right here, just stop!
Yeah. Yeah, when you get to Omega Google and I'm just gonna continuously explode the screen. I'm never gonna even give you a chance to take a breath.
Alright, one more quarter, let's do this. I ain't gonna waste no time, let's do this shit, let's go.
Yeah, and you get her close though, so like I said, it's not like, oh, there's no way to ever beat this. It's more of a point of just
getting her in that point.
You gotta be relentless. Because if she gets you just cornered, or gets that point where she can just continuously drop energy shots across the screen at you, you're just like, oh, come on! Let me at least make this a fair fight. Don't pull off this Alpha 452 BS.
Look, I already had enough of this bullshit with Alpha Bison. Shut up. I'm
oh, God, yeah, Alpha Bison, too. I didn't think about that. But yeah,
nothing such fun than getting a full screen Cycle Crusher.
Yeah. Like, wait, why are you so much weaker in 2? But it's definitely one of those things where I always go back to Alpha 452 from Dead or Alive 4, going like, oh, come on.
There you go.
You just created the world's cheapest boss.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, she can just teleport out of your combo. Like, what? Oh, she doesn't stagger either from the moves that normally stagger an opponent. Oh, good. It's definitely one of those. Yeah, it's just what you expect from a fighting game final boss.
Yeah, I'm not really. Oh! That didn't connect? There you go.
Oh, my phone is going off the hook. Sorry about this. I feel like I should be talking, but I'm getting messages and stuff the whole time.
That's fine, I don't...
I like how I turn away and then you beat the game. Like, I'm sorry, I'm being distracted by stuff, and there goes our little victory thing. By the way, I love how the government is just called the government.
The government.
The government. And yeah, all the characters get this little, the world goes to peace thing, and then you get the cute little character thing here at the end, which is just fun. I love the artwork in this game.
Yeah,
I know I've said that about 100 times.
Like I said, that part of the presentation I love. But when it's everything else, I'm like, can we get a little bit more meat into this? It's look, the global standard is Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the PlayStation 1. That's if you don't have anything that remotely gets that close, we got an issue.
I know that's too many options. When we get to some of those Alpha 3 games, just get a little too many options for my taste.
I don't know. I love that.
See, I think we're on opposite extremes. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's fine because I think we want something a little more simplistic. Because I've been doing this for a lot longer and stuff like that. So to me, it's okay, fine. I can handle this. I can handle like a lot more shit. That's why it's like for me, it's like when we were talking about Skullgirls earlier. It's like for me when I say floaty, it's like oh, well, your character stays in the air for like way too long than it should.
Oh, that aspect. Yes, for the jumping thing. Yeah, you just levitate in that game.
Yeah, so it's like that's why I feel like in this game, like for example, mechanically, it's sound. It's a sound game, and the thing is, it wants to it wants to be like a vertical type of game, like it's like an Arc Sys game, but it's very grounded, and I kind of wish that it's like make up your mind.
Gravity is very strong in the universe.
It's like make your decision. Do you want to be like a you want this to be an Arc Sys game, or you want this to be a Street Fighter 3?
Yeah. And you're right, it does feel like it is kind of right in between those.
And I don't mind it, because that was the issue I had with, like I said, I was trying to get back with Skullgirls. Yeah, Skullgirls, with Skullgirls, it's like it found its groove eventually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a fun story I have on that one. I was at Kamikaze, second year of Kamikaze, like 3-4 years ago, and the artist behind Skullgirls, or main character designer, was there at a booth and just kind of doing his own art. It really wasn't. He wasn't really there to promote Skullgirls, although we did have the Skullgirls art there. And we did a little interview with him back in the day for Scarlet Rhapsody, and the video should still be up there. And we were talking about it, and one of the things he brought up is like, yeah, right now they're working on doing a lot of different patches for the game. And when the whole interview and stuff was over, I turned to Miguel and I said, yeah, called it. The patches in that game, some balancing, and you know, this game will be really awesome. And they did the patches, they did some balancing, and that game is actually really awesome.
Yeah.
In fact, we were talking about how you got this on Humble Bundle. That was recently a Humble Bundle with all DLC as like a second tier or third tier kind of thing.
That was a second tier.
That was one of the things I promoted when I was talking about that in the blog.
Yeah,
the second tier thing. I was talking about that on my blog, going like, yeah, if you like fighters, you gotta grab Skullgirls with all the DLC stuff. It's great.
Yeah, and they fixed the game up so much to the point where it's like, I would recommend that game. I recommend this game to you, but I'm gonna say, hopefully, Animigo will continue supporting this game and give it like the proper stuff like online play and like a little bit more.
Egomon.
Then hopefully it'll give it a little bit more beef that it needs, because I think that's what it needs. It just needs more substance. It needs more meat. It's all bread. The bread's good, but I want more.
At this point, you could go for a part 2. At this point, they could put up a part 2 or start working on a part 2 and have, address the various issues we have. But, like I said, I think for the price, and it's very stylish, and I generally like it. I mean, if we're gonna do this as a Siskel and Ebert type thing, rather than doing the stupid, numerical kind of thing, just the basic, I give it a thumbs up. When it comes down to it, I don't know if it'll be everyone's cup of tea who wants fighters, because some people want different things, and it is far from a perfect fighter. In fact, I don't know what I would list as my perfect fighter, other than probably Dream Match 98. Alpha 3. You were kind of right with Alpha 3, but I have some issues with Alpha 3. More on the character list, actually, more than anything else.
You're not a fan of Alex?
5 of this thing. Don't need a bunch of clones.
Really? Like, Ryu and Ken, okay, Yin and Yang I can see. But it's like, Ryu and Ken are two different beasts now. That's not an excuse at this point. They've had time to develop themselves to be like different characters. Okay, you know what?
You keep playing, I gotta answer this. Luke. Or not. Playing this one. I'm getting some calls. I'll be back in a couple minutes after I deal with this.